at Shapiro Capital. And I want you to know that today is a crazy day. We have an amazing human being. I had a little breakfast at Portasagua on the beach. If you don't know where it is, it's the best little spot in Miami. I had coffee con leche. I've had a lot of coffee today, so I may talk super fast and say a bunch of stupid-ass things, but of course, my crew will edit it. So guys, this is maybe the second or the third person that I actually started to communicate when we started to do social media. Jeff, the entrepreneur, is absolutely an amazing young man, and we actually called, and he couldn't believe that it was me, because that's me. I just call people random. I like to do that. I don't have a filter. I do say some dumbass shit. I do actually apologize a lot after I get to know the people and realize that I was fucking wrong, because I can admit when I'm wrong. I hope I'm right more than the times I'm wrong, but let's try to work on those numbers. I guess in the MLB, if you get a hit every third time, you're going to the Hall of Fame. I want to welcome Jeff. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. You look great. Freaking fresh cut is freshy fresh, bro.
Freshy fresh, right? My buddy in Midtown, Miami, El Nicaragua Barber. And then I have Natalie at Boxer Barber, that if I wasn't flying the girl out to Switzerland today, I might have got a cut there. But we had to be in time for this beautiful studio where you're at. So thank you so much. This is awesome.
Thank you. So, Jeff, tell me what separates you from all these other people, because you know I'm pretty private. I don't typically, for lack of a better word, fuck with people. And you're sitting in my podcast studio. You've come to some events, and we've started to get to know each other, and you actually made it onto my Shabbat message list, which is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. By the way, shout out to that Shabbat message. The fact that it was really you from your number texting out, and it blesses me all the time, you know? So many people have on Instagram these daily little messages they do, and they mass message it. He does direct messages, and our first conversation we had, I still remember, I was eating at right out here in Midtown. I step out, you said, call me, I call you, and I remember that conversation. I was authentic, and you were authentic. And I was like, finally, when I grow up, I want everything of this guy to rub off on me. So I was like, I gotta be around this guy more often. And I really just noticed your no filter and how you were, and I always admired that, you know? I love that. Gary Vee, we know Gary Vee. You remind me of a Gary Vee, right? Just swears a little bunch, but very authentic.
Well, he's the guy, right?
He's the guy. I love Gary Vee, and that's why I modeled. So you just reminded me of another version of that in its own way. So that's why I was just like, that, and that's what I try and be, right? Very much myself. When everybody gets caught up in like all this clickbait, everything in that world, and I just want to be as real as I can, right? And I think that's what it is, man. It's just be real. The truth is cool, right? Truth will set you free, but the truth is cool. If you tell the truth and say stuff, people express. So many people want to flex on so many different things. And, you know, I guess we do all flex in a certain way. Like my flex is relationships, right? I have solid relationships. If I know anything, and I watch you, right? Do it. I know Mark's going to have my back. No, Jeff's a good guy, right? Because of the thing. And likewise, right? No, Mark's a good guy, right? So that's a lot of it. It's just really good at building relationships, because that's one of my mentors told me that. He's like, the more hands you shake, the more money you make, you know? But it wasn't even about the money for me. It was more about the relationship, because it's the company you keep along the journey, you know?
Yeah. What did my parents used to say? My parents used to say, show me your 5 closest friends, and I will show you who you are. Yeah. And I have friends that I've been friends with since I'm 8.
Yeah.
I just recently got married, and
congratulations.
A couple of them came to the wedding. One of my boys is Smitty. I know I talk about him all the time. I'm sure Tanner gets tired of me talking about Smitty. Sometimes I'll actually call him, because I'm an old car guy. I love muscle cars. Yeah. And Tanner, like, he didn't believe all the crazy cars we had back then, because today they're very expensive.
What was there like a crazy muscle car?
My first muscle car was a 1968 Chevelle SS 396, black interior, midnight blue, center lines, 411s in the rear. Adrian will know what it had. Breaker bars in the back to get better traction to the wheels. We put a shift package in the auto, and the car was a freaking beast. But it was a stock 396, had an Edelbrock a manifold, had a Holley double pump, like 750 maybe or 760, and which is a carburetor. Back then, cars were simple, and I could spin a wrench and I could work on a car. The second car I got was a 70 Roadrunner 446 pack. Incredible car. My friend Smitty got it into the local Frank Murata auto show. And he's had some sick cars. And we always had them. And they were nothing. That's 1976. That's when I turned 16. The car was a 68, so it was 8 years old. And I paid $1,350 for that car.
Wow.
If you were to look it up, it's probably $250,000 today.
Yeah, I know. We have a nice studio here. We could park out. That'll be a gift when I do make it. Maybe I'll get you.
Don't say that.
A little version of it.
You are making it.
I am making it. But I always want to be transparent. Like I am making it. Yeah, but like always show shin mentality, right? Patrick taught me that.
Yeah.
Beginner's mindset wherever I go into. Come in, listen to Tanner. You're great guys here, and always learn. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we're doing an event here on the 27th.
Oh, nice.
With about 200 people.
I'll be in the Philippines.
It's 4 hours. We're doing it from 12 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing it with Sam Guzman, who owns a property management and turnover business. You know what that is.
Yeah.
And he gave me, not the 68, he gave me a replica of the 67
Oh, did you really?
in blue. So, guys, I just got to take a break and take this call. Okay? So.
Awesome. Oh, good. I was wondering what I was going to do if I had to take calls. We can do that.
Sorry, I had to take a quick break. We are back. My wife needed to talk to me. So we're back here with Jeff, the entrepreneur. He's a serial entrepreneur. He actually does like cereal. What is your favorite cereal, by the way?
I actually, because I signed this longevity clinic, they told me cereal's not good for you. I used to love Frosted Mini Wheats.
Frickin' A.
But I don't eat cereal anymore.
Really?
I gave it up.
I love
What's your favorite cereal?
Captain Crunch.
Yeah, I know. I love Captain Crunch.
Freaking Captain Crunch is crazy.
I almost bought, they have at Target over here, all the marshmallows at a Captain Crunch. Like, they just sell them separately now. I almost caved and bought that. I was so close.
Bro, I may have to go to Target and get some.
It was very, but no, I literally, and serial entrepreneur is a title, but a lot of times when you get good at one thing, I just kept doing that same thing, right? Which is helping people tell their personal story that really cares, to show their heart that I see you have, build an offer, and then make connections, right? And like one of the guys, Mark Zamilichap?
Of course.
Yeah, so one of the guys who changed my life, kind of very similar to you, he did over, $3 billion in all real estate. Robert.
It's a lot.
Yeah, really
Robert
a lot.
Kaplan?
No, Robert Damangella. So you'll see about him. We'll have a thing. But he's a really good guy, like you, great heart. Things you don't see. And I literally learned the whole, cap stack and all that stuff just by building out his stuff, Right, so but what attracted me to him wasn't the knowledge, it was the heart. And that's what attracted me to you too. That's what makes you different. It's like your heart. Just you taking a call from your wife, hey, I need to. Is like those are the people I want to be around, Because when stuff hits the fan, like life will, it's, hey, who do you care about, Like who cares about you, kind of in that. Because a lot of times, like, do you believe people care or people don't care?
I am someone who believes people are generally good.
Yeah.
Okay. I am always told that my judgment sucks by my wife, that my instincts suck, and that I'm too trusting. Now, that might be true, that I do trust a lot of people, and I will sometimes suffer the repercussions of their actions, but I don't want to change.
Yeah, Mark, can I be direct with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times because we love somebody, I have a girl I love right now that I'm thinking of. She says the same stuff to me sometimes, and we want to listen because it's there, but as entrepreneurs and business owners, our inner gut is right. And a lot of times they're just saying it out of their perspective because that's what they see, Yeah. So I do get it, a lot of times. And trust me, I see some of your content, some of your judgment. I'm like, oh, he went there, So maybe she is right about a few things. But I see your heart, and then your gut instinct on stuff is really right. Like a lot of times. So like don't waver that. Don't let any pretty face, no matter what it is, your God-given gift, what God gave you, stay with that, because that's gotten you obviously all of this, and so. And I'm not trying to feed your ego or anything like that. I'm just saying, like,
No, we're trying to be the Miami Grant Cardone here.
Yeah.
We are in the process of putting together a platform where we're going to be syndicating deals.
Nice.
We just syndicated our first deal.
Congratulations.
Through the social media. Small little deal, but we bought it for 40 cents on the dollar, 106 units. Great little deal, bank deal. Yeah. We're doing a couple more of those. And, real estate and numbers are linear for me. Yeah. So I take the emotion out. And everything is a layover. Everything, you can tell what it is, you know the trend, you understand the data, you can interpret the data, and then the data becomes your key indicator to where the deal is going. That I'm really good at.
Yeah.
Talking to people, telling them, frankly, this is what I want, and I'm not wavering. Most people are afraid to do that. Yeah. So we decided to redo our website and bring in a new SEO company. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to charge us, it wasn't a lot of money, but they wanted to charge us $2,500 a month. Mm-hmm. And then they would do our Google ads and so forth. And first I said, redesign the website. And I want you to work. They said, we would work for X for free. So they were going to do it for us for 10 days. And I said, I want 120 days. And I said, if that's not acceptable to you, it was really nice meeting you. Right. Good luck. Yep. He didn't hesitate. He said, I'll give you 4 months for free. And then we actually shifted to a bigger contract based on the ad spend, which we're learning this business is about ad spend, and in Meta and Google ads. Yep. And we just actually started running them yesterday. I don't know what the success rate is, but I know our CTAs and I know our clicks are actually getting better. Yep. I believe Tanner has that data. You have that data? It's definitely growing pretty rapidly.
Like what specifically?
The DMs.
Per day?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I noticed too, and you guys are putting out content, and I love your content, but I run a mastermind, right, that helps people. It's a marketing mastermind, right? And I do little workshops right here. Actually, I want to ask you about the syndication on social media, because I do workshops in Midtown Miami. So everybody knows me in my building, right? They know I'm going to build a coffee shop. They know the whole deal, right? Which is actually coming way sooner than I thought. I'm so scared of it, but I'm leading what the Lord wants for me. But
amen.
Right? So, and sometimes you're quiet with the Lord. He speaks to you, and you just got to listen, and you got to not be, you got to fight the devil speaking the doubt into you, right, all the time. But I do these little workshops out here, and one of the companies, Viral Alchemy, taught me on YouTube, and this is probably more for Tanner, but that if you do an SRT file, which is a transcript file with it, and then YouTube now has it. They had all these tools, but they have a inspiration button. So if you search other things like 1031 exchange, and you see it, you kind of mimic, model, and master it in your own, because nobody's you, right? What's working, and then you do the SEO videos on YouTube. YouTube now, I just did. Do you know who Aman Ghazi is?
No.
Oh, you should. I would love to see you react to some of his stuff. Okay. He's the most cleanest kid. Do you? Oh, okay. He's good.
React?
I love Aman Ghazi.
Is that the kid that says he spends $40,000 a month on clothes?
No, that's.
No?
Mangazi is he just bought WAP.
Just bought WAP.
Yeah, he's a good kid. But I really like Aman Ghazi, so I'll have a hard time if you go after him. He teaches this YouTube flywheel that we're putting in for our clients, and basically we put this video on YouTube, but it's a flywheel. Tanner talks it right. So you just click and. Yeah, so people stay on the channel, right?
Yep.
And it's a great way to get people to learn more and trust where you're at, Right. But let me ask you the question about social media. So the guy in my building, I was talking to him about Grant, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, man, why does Grant have to go and syndicate? If they're really good deals, why does he have to syndicate from anybody else? He should come to people like us, right? And I notice all these institutional people really frown upon the funding on social media. So now that I'm in the real estate space and everything, what's your take on an answer to something like that when people say that?
Well, there are two schools of thought. Okay, there's institutional capital, and then there's private capital. Institutional capital is much more expensive, and you lose a lot of control of your deal. So you don't have anonymity, right? when you do a deal with public money, which is what Grant does, Grant controls the process. He doesn't have to discuss with anyone what he's buying. He typically uses his own capital to buy the deal, close it, and then the syndication, he rolls it into the syndication, which is a very smart way of doing things. Now, I probably would be speaking in a more negative light if I hadn't squashed my beef with Grant.
Yeah, I'm so
Okay.
happy to hear that because
So-
you and Grant are both two. I have no hate. My whole I'm rebranding my whole 8-figure brand. We're reading Inspire Others Always.
Yeah.
You know, I get a hard time of you for swearing. I loved Gary Vee. When I started my YouTube channel, I started swearing, and my dad came to me.
You called me, and
I know.
And you called me, and I said, okay.
Yeah.
I don't actually swear that in life, real life.
Yeah. It's great for marketing. You understand marketing very well.
Well-
How did you get so good at marketing?
I have no idea.
Because even you whispering to come in, be like, guys, it's Shapiro Capital. It's a
no.
jump thing. Like, and I'm like, he just did
No,
that. You know?
just instinct, just
Yeah.
trying to.
You're inner genius.
fun.
By the way, that's why I love you. And when Ty Lopez came over to you and said, hey, man, keep doing what you're doing, like, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Because you're genuinely you, but you understand which one to take. And I love it, man, because it definitely takes a lot of guts. I send people your stuff all the time. Like, no, you need to be more like Mark Shapiro. And they get mad. They're like, well, you love this guy? I was like, no, I just love good marketing. I love what it is. Some of the things, because I think anybody, whether it's you, me, Grant, who else? Gary Vee. We're all plus negatives to putting positive content. There's so much garbage with girls shaking whatever content
Uncool.
that like literally. Grant was the one when I wanted to commit suicide that I watched this video on depression that changed my life. I was going to commit suicide. I prayed, God, I don't care if I wake up. I searched depression, Grant Cardone. I saw that video. I was like, if this guy can do it, maybe I can do it. And that was it.
You just gave me chills.
Yeah, and I'll send you that video. It's a great video.
Why? Where were you? What place were you?
I was in Connecticut. I just got out of the therapist office.
Yeah.
The lady said, you have ADD, OCD, go get medicated. I said, fine, med me up. I went home to my dad. I had a piece of paper like that. I said, Dad, I think I'm going to get medicated. And I had in the back of my mind that, like, I'm going to go commit suicide. Because my older brother lived down here in Boca. And he married the wrong girl. And she left him for a guy who had a multi-millions. So my brother came and said, Jeff, we're going to be multi-millionaires. And we're going to build this coffee shop. And I'm going to get my family back. And so I had the piece of paper.
You don't have to talk about this if you don't want.
Yeah, it's fine. It helps me, actually. And this is why. And we're doing it. We're rebranding. This is why I came here. This is my why. And I came back, and I had the piece of paper, Dad, because when my brother, we drew it on a napkin. I went to wake him up, and he died on drugs, fentanyl, my older brother. Didn't wake up.
I'm sorry.
So when that happened, I'm the one who moved him out of Boca because he wanted me to come to Miami with me, right? And I said, no, Jay, come to Connecticut. I don't want to go to Connecticut, which now that I'm here, I know why, right? But I came for a week. And, man, he had cocaine that was laced with fentanyl the night before. We had drinks, stole the orange. And, dude, yeah, seriously, it was definitely the one moment that I went to wake him up. He didn't wake up. Gave him CPR, all that stuff. And fast forward, I'm in therapy. My student, I taught. Did you know I was a teacher?
No.
I taught coding, video editing, and music studio.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I loved it.
The most underrated.
Can I tell you something?
That's the Grant Cardone video that I went after.
Yeah.
You said you should be ashamed if you don't make $400,000.
I know. He said that. He even said that one's going to give him a lot. If he runs for governor, he's like, that one will give me a kickback.
And he did it obviously for the viewers. He did it
the same way marketing.
clicks.
You guys are both great genius marketers.
So-
yes. But you both should probably be a little bit more careful. But either way, you know that you're okay with the checks you write, so it's cool. I just say I have love for both you guys in a way. But my whole point was my dad was the one who showed me about video by Grant, and my dad's never bought any Grant stuff either. He just told me this morning. He's like, I never bought anything. I got so much value from it. But he showed me a Grant rant. You ever seen any Grant rants? You guys should do them. Oh, you should do them Shapiro rants. All right, that way it's not ripping off. It's my idea. All right, so the Grant could come at me, but Grant would just rant on something, kind of like you do. Okay, and he did it on sales. Oh, I'll send it to you. You like it? It's great. And I looked at it and go, what's that guy's name? Now, I'm depressed. Picture everybody telling you, it's not your fault, Mark. It's not your fault. Your brother died, your sister died. It's not your fault. And all the devil's telling you is it's your fault. It's your fault. Kill yourself, right? And that's what I heard. So I went home to basically do that. And then I laid down. I prayed, God, just don't even wake me up, because I just didn't have the courage really to do it, right? And then I searched depression, Grant Cardone, see if this guy has anything. He said if Oprah did it, and even though Oprah's Oprah, but she went through being raped when she's young and everything, and now people know her. And then he talked about him, and they were going to medicate him. So I tore up the medication paper. I went out. I wrote down, I'm going to build the biggest franchise ever in honor of my brother called Kokomo J's at the lever of Starbucks. You don't give up America. And that's why I moved here to do that. And that's it. So that's my inner drive. And then I'm very punchy marketing like you. I love it. So I knew I didn't have the bankroll to cash it. So my brother was like, so I made the creed that all my content would inspire others always. It might not get the most clicks, but it would just inspire and come from that way, right? And I used to wear shirts and vlog all the way around. And then people started asking me, hey, can you help me? I started helping them. They started making money. And this thing built into a whole business now, It's amazing. Now I'm employing jobs in the Philippines now. I have a whole thing in the Philippines.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's what this thing turned from nothing to teaching people how to get out of their own freaking way and change their life.
Now, and you've changed a lot of lives. What got you into this then? How did you because you blew up in a pretty, it's been about a year,
So I started filming before that for an Italian family office that I was running.
Okay, nice.
And they turned out to be less than honorable. We did build a building down the street, the Strata, and successfully sold it. I'm still waiting on my money.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that building sold for $260 million.
Do you have to be careful with a lot of family offices?
Yeah, they're almost impossible to vet them properly.
Yeah, right.
You do the KYC, you do the anti-money laundering, you have your attorneys do that, okay? Then they come up clean. It's never clean.
Yeah.
It's never fucking clean. Their money traced back to a Vatican investment fund. So I was like, we're good. Forget it. You got to be super, super careful. And that's probably why Grant does things by doing public money, because he's taking public money. These people do idolize him. He's giving them a good return, and he's replicating it. So, and I know, and I feel exactly the same way. It is the greatest time to buy real estate now.
Yeah. No, 100%. I was just looking. I actually just looked at units not too long over here. If the price is right, it was 2 4 units buying together because that was what I did. And people
Your first
always
4 unit,
my first 4 changed my life. But it's all about it all comes down to the numbers, right?
It's all numbers. It's just data.
Life's a numbers game. My dad used to say that.
Well, sales is a numbers game.
Yeah.
Life,
Blood pressure,
you want to meet
insurance,
a nice girl. How many
rent.
you got to eat? You got to ask out as many as you can, and then you're going to meet somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
So what my thought process is, there is a sweet area in Miami Beach. It's Loomis and the Flamingo area. Okay. Now the pricing is a little bit more because it's on the island, but the rent per square foot is much higher than the barrier of entry. They do need some rehab, but you can actually buy them. You can do STR in them. You can do a bunch of things. And it's a good place to borrow money also. You probably get an 80-90% loan there.
Yeah.
So you comb the market. There's a lot of investors that are combing the market. Adam Newman is all over that market.
Adam Newman,
So.
Yeah. Now your thing? You got all into this because your dad was a dentist.
My dad was a dentist,
right? And your mom was a brokerage, commercial real estate, right?
Broker, yeah.
Now, did you ever do brokerage or no?
No, never.
No, but you understand it very well, though, right?
Well, I understand the business. It's not for me. We did build a mortgage company, and we sold it to a public company. We were successful at that. We did do some third-party property management when I first started to generate fees. It did generate us to get the ability as a receiver, so we were able to buy assets at distressed prices. But never actually wanted to be a broker. Don't want to be a particularly anybody's third party for anything. What we are doing here is we've set up our own Shapiro Capital mortgage. We got a small line from a New York fund. We have yet to actually been able to place a deal on that line because they are a little bit difficult. And we are doing some brokerage of deals for the students in our space, in our community. So
Yeah, that's powerful. So you got into this, and then whose idea was it?
Why did I get into it?
Yeah.
So I'd been doing that stuff, and he had been filming me. His name's Christian, and after the 2024, we went into 2024. I was deathly sick with COVID.
Yeah.
I started to get better around late February. I reached out to Christian and said, "Hey, you want to do some social media?" And he's like, "Sure." So we started in April. I think we filmed on either the 11th or the 19th, the Grant Cardone video. And it was in Weston at a friend's house. And when we were driving back, he called me and he said, "The video is going viral. You're blowing up." And I'm like, "Well, is that good? I don't want to blow up, because you're thinking of explosives." And he's like, No. He said, "When you go back for Shabbat, which was a Friday, and you turn your phone back on Saturday, you're going to have 1 million views." I believe that video did either 7.8 million or 8.5 million.
Which one was that was reacting?
That was the 400K.
So what's your
ashamed?
By the way, I'll be kind of I like that Grant says that, because where the economy was going, anybody should strive. Like Andrew Tate does the same thing. You know what I mean? So in marketing, and I sent it to a girl once because she was all like, and I said, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And she's like, because she worked for Grant, and she's like, "Oh," she's like, because they can't go against you can't go against anybody that you work with, right? You shouldn't, right? Everybody should be on the same page. Right. And but I was just kind of playing with it because I knew Grant pushes the line, but you push the line quite a bit, Is there anything that you did that you regretted, that you were like, "Oh man," what was one of the biggest apologies that you had to make?
So
because I reacted to you.
Let me answer the first question, and then I'll give you that answer. So what really got me into this was these guys from New Jersey, this Flipping New Jersey.
Okay.
The guy that's on the Drive show and this other guy, and they turned out to be straight up con artists.
I don't know that. I don't know.
And I started that, and that's why I reached out to Christian. That's why I felt it was a need for me to have a voice. And then I started calling people out who were just blatantly full of shit, or I felt they were full of shit, okay?
Wow.
And when I realized that I was wrong, I then would apologize. Like Fareed, who does business credit and stuff like that. My first event in D.C. was he came and sat in the front row. And the first thing I said when I was introduced and I got on stage was I apologized because I was wrong about this kid. And then we went and took the whole crew. I think Adrian was there in the SUV farting like he always does. And that's Adrian. And we went out and had a nice dinner. It actually was a nice place, wasn't it, Adrian? Yeah. And, Fareed has become a friend. He actually came here. We did a podcast on a boat and did one with Daniel G. So, it's never too late to realize and say you're wrong.
Yeah. So maybe I should do that because we're rebranding everything. I finally hired my own video guy now. And it's funny because we have a very similar story. This girl that I like, she did solar. I did door-to-door for solar right at one point. And so she went to this event. She asked me, her and her dad went to the event. And the guy at the event made me so mad. He was very talented, just like me, just like you. But he basically said we could become a God, and then I'm a Christian, right? I believe in the Lord and that. He talked how Jesus wasn't real. Right, and he went off and just talked down, and he has a video on YouTube. There's no such thing as narcissist, but I go to a lot of these business events, right, and the people in the event were all lost. They had tattoos. They were lost, and I stood up for the Lord. And the Lord put me there for a reason because people kept coming and talking to me. Hey, we don't like how he talks bad about Jesus. The whole thing wound up demonic. People are calling people from the dead at the end, right? And that got me to start. I went to Nathaniel. I said, hey, we're running Facebook ads because we've run ads for other companies, right? Like a marketing agency, or marketing consulting firm. Really, is what it is. I connect them with agencies because how I even got into this job was I was out in Culver City, LA, and Patrick Bet David gave me Tom Hopkins needs clothes. Do you know Tom Hopkins needs clothes?
Tom Hopkins is the master.
He's the master. Do you know his needs clothes?
No.
NEADS. This is it. What are you doing now for raising capital? What do you enjoy about it? What alterations would you make? NEA. Are you the decision maker? Are you sure it's not your wife? No. Decision maker? Can I show you how? And for someone who has so much energy, got me to calm down on Culver City, LA. I'll give him a shout out. Brian Murdoch. He might build an automated webinar with us. Great guy now still.
Brian's a great guy.
Brian's a great guy. We got to get him on here. He's awesome, dude.
Back, guys, had to take a call from my wife, trying to calm her down. And I'm back here with Jeff. And, you know, Jeff and I were talking about something that he went through, and it chilled me to my bones, to my spine. And I deal with this from my older brother. Adrian, can we get some espresso?
See, I can't wait till, of course. I can't wait until that's my coffee shop and you're sitting in it. It's going to happen soon.
I'll be there.
We just did the pitch deck and investor. You know Drew the Move, Miami, right?
Yeah.
We were at an event that he spoke at, and he said, hey, God gave you that vision, go build it. So I just went. I've been staying up all night. My dreams keep me awake was literally the slogan, and I've been building out all
You've
this.
seen these new drive-through coffee places?
No,
They're
but
all over Texas.
Really?
There's a little place, I think it's called Dutch Man or Dutch something.
Dutch Bro?
Dutch Bro or
Oh,
something?
Dutch Bro, Gary
One of
V.
my brokers,
Yeah, I know. They're great.
out there at CBRE,
Yep.
the Taylor brothers, who were selling our portfolio out in Lubbock, they actually were the seed capital on the deal, and I think they have 260, maybe 280, maybe 300 now.
Yeah.
And they're printing money.
Yeah.
Printing it. It's like a printing press. It's insane.
Do you know who Dutch Bros got to go speak to all their coffee connoisseurs?
Obviously, Gary Vee.
Yeah. Did you ever see that video?
No.
And empathy, it's a great video. It's all about leadership, and it's about empathy. And these young kids in Dutch Bro, they're doing, I love culture and business, right? And what's doing what's right. They're asking all questions, how to be better shift leaders for this company. And that's why I'm not even shocked that it was Dutch Bro or whatever, because when I heard it, I was like, that's the culture, right? You hear these little Juan Valdez, obviously people know Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, but that's like the next one, because I'm going to look it up. That's why I share the dream, because that's market research right there. When you share what it is, now I'm going to look that up. Now we know, hey, okay, if we have the right real estate, because you ever see the movie Founder by McDonald's? That's why I started this. Like, he went door to door, so I was like, I'm going to go door to door. He built a franchise, right? And he bought out the guys and built a franchise. So I was like, okay, who will I buy out then, right? We'll buy out somebody when they're at the end, right?
Yep.
Like, just think about it smarter instead of like doing it that way.
You watched that movie. I lived that movie.
Really?
Because we used to go to a McDonald's in South Windsor, Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
And fries were 10 cents.
Huh.
A burger was 15 cents.
Wow.
And a Coke was a nickel.
Wow.
And the burgers were incredible. Not like they are today.
Not mass-produced market.
No, and I haven't eaten McDonald's since I became kosher again.
Yeah.
But just phenomenal stuff. Really, really good stuff.
Now, talk about kosher again. Where do you get back into your Jewish roots?
So in my life, I've been religious, not religious, religious, not religious, probably because I'm a jerk. And, God's always been protective of me and good to me.
Yeah.
And I float back and forth. It's very hard. Sometimes it's easier here in Miami. But, you have to do certain things and you have to try hard.
Yeah.
Okay. And I went through something crazy in my life, and I said, okay, I'm going to eat kosher. And I started to see all these magical blessings. I don't know if it's that. I think it's just a dedication to God. We can call God a few different things. In Hebrew, we call him Hashem. We call him the Abishta, the one.
I taught at a Hebrew school, actually. I taught the alphabet. I can't speak Hebrew,
Really?
but
Al Beis Gimel?
Yeah, Beis
Yeah.
Gimel. Yeah, so,
So-
JCC, I think they were called.
Jewish Community Center.
Yeah, that's right. For every Sunday for extra money. So the Jewish roots for me were whether it was my grandma.
Where did you grow up in Connecticut?
Technically grew up in Waterbury.
Waterbury,
Okay.
yeah.
And then we got our dream house, me and my mom and dad, in Sullyton, Connecticut.
Sullyton,
And
sure.
then my mom died of breast cancer with no life insurance.
Crazy.
And that went through. But then I taught in New Britain. I taught as a substitute teacher.
New Britain.
In New Britain school.
That's where I graduated college. I
Yeah.
went to CCSU.
Really? Yeah.
played football at CCSU.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh wow! So that's where I wanted to go to play football.
Yeah,
And
I
because
bartended at
but no wonder
Elmer's.
I like. Yep. Oh, I know
Okay.
Elmer's. Yeah. That's so crazy.
I tell you, I had a great life growing up in West Hartford. Amazing town.
Yeah.
I actually had
You
spent
look
a
like someone from West
season
Hartford.
coaching the freestyle team at Mount Southington.
Okay.
And my girlfriend was Gail Palmisano. Those are the people that actually own the hill. And the assistant coach, her name was Cindy Kelly. Her husband was a big dirt bike guy.
Yeah.
Apparently, he died of cancer.
Wow.
And I had one little girl on my squad. The sister, the sister, Sherry Bloomer. She went to CCSU, and we were good friends, and I would study with her. And the second daughter was Amy Bloomer, and she was on the freestyle team. But the youngest, her name was Stacy, and she made it to the Olympics as an alternate doing aerials. And as a skier, I was a very competitive skier, not big enough to be relevant because you have to have some size on you to really push like a GS or downhill. You really need more size. It just gives you a little more inertia. But I love skiing.
That was the only time, by the way, I worked. The only time I ever called out of work was with a girl that I liked, and she said, just call out. And women, man, they have always a way to get to us. And I called out a Stop and Shop, sick, and I went skiing at Mount Southington.
Mount Southington, yeah.
And it was a great time, man. I love snowboard. I fell in love with snowboarding after. I'm the type of guy, once I do something, I go all in, right? Yeah. Like I was in Colombia not too long ago, and I was doing everything. That's when I started the VA company, which is now an AI agency where it's going because it's going so fast. And that's when I had the real estate, I had the lead generation software, everything got wiped to zero. And for one point, I went to pay one of my guys, and this is my best point. When Mike Tyson says Buster Douglas knocked him down his best time, same deal. And I prayed, God, am I supposed to be doing this? And that's when Shalom texted me, hey, boss, God put this verse in my heart, Jeremiah 29:11. And I didn't know that verse. And then again, Nathaniel. And then it was, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper and not harm you. So I went, rededicated my business to God, and it's never been better by then. Like, and you're right, you have to always work out your salvation and everything with fear and trembling, right? You in a way, like, where you, like, it's hard. But everybody, and you know this, because you've seen a lot of the world, the people that are on the side that it's dark and evil, like all this stuff, like, I don't know, like just all the sex trafficking, all that evil stuff. You go down the music industry, it's just evil, devil stuff, right?
There's a lot of evil stuff.
Right, there's a lot of evil stuff. And I'm not around that. I'm around the good. It makes it good. There was a girl who was around it, and she came up and she said, Jeff, the reason why I like you is you have a light to you. It's like God. She's like, what made me believe in God was seeing all the demonic stuff, right? And it's just crazy because as, you know, even with Trump getting elected and all this stuff here, it's almost, it's a battle between like godly and ungodly, you know, like the ungodly people. You can't reason with people. If you really, there's no substance. They don't fear God. And when they don't fear God, they try and become a God, which is what Satan tries to do. You are a God, tries to elevate people up, you know? It's pretty scary, you know? But that's why it's good to have a foundation strong. And then as soon as you, probably when you started being kosher and try to be that, you get more temptation because you know you're staying on that, right?
Of course.
It gets harder.
When you fall in love with somebody, then you have all these women chasing after you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
That's so true.
You try to be monogamous. I and will answer the question you asked me, what's my biggest mistake? It's painful. It's not losing money. It's not, fighting with the government. It's not that. It was the decision I made to leave my three daughters, Sarah, Madison, and Carly, and to leave their mother. And still to this day, we don't have a great relationship. I wish I did. I love them dearly. I respect them dearly. And I only want the best for them. But for my own mental health, I had to leave their mother. And I shouldn't have. I should have stayed married. I should have suffered to at least till they were 18 or they went off to college. I should have stayed there. And I could have. But I was a fucking selfish asshole. Arrogant. I had lost my way. I had made a lot of money.
How old were you?
I was 40.
Okay, yeah.
I was 40. And
so my
I lost empathy. I lost humility. And I had to go through that, being a single dad, getting my head cracked open to actually find my way again. And through Judaism, it gave me that path. And I'm tremendously sorry, Susie. I know I say probably some not so nice things about you on video. You were a good mom. You're a good person. You and I just didn't have a great marriage. And I hope someday that you let go and forgive me. And I'm always praying for you and the girls.
Yeah, see, I love that about you because I put myself so in your shoes. I almost got married. I'll show you when we leave here. I have a picture of a girl and me on a credit card. And although it didn't end the best, I would have wound up divorced. I knew it. I was just going to marry her to settle. And, like, this is the thing that everybody expects me to do. I'm 32. Let's get married, right? And I just hearing it from you, if I had kids, you know, I haven't. I just go there with you, and I see your heart and how much it is. And, like, I remember one of your pieces of content that you did was that, right? Of, hey, and that's one thing I think that makes you different than any of these guys is you being authentic and real. Like, hey, we're all human, right? Yeah, sure, we're all trying to. And I love that you said it wasn't the money loss. It's really like family, right? It's really, that's what it is, you know? And then you kind of build your own family within your work, right? You build people who care about you and stuff, you know? And it's even beyond the money, you know? Like, I've had at days when I couldn't pay my people and they still showed up, right? And they cared and they believed in the mission. And
we don't pay them.
Yeah,
they just come for the M&Ms.
See, I believe it though.
And the Tootsie Rolls.
When you're good at selling a vision,
and Adrian is having a really hard time making espresso.
Yeah,
because he's partially autistic, but we hire handicapped people.
Yeah. Well, when we have Kokomo J's, we have the website, KokomoJs.com.
Where's it going to be? Here in Wynwood?
It'll be, depending on the market, right? You got to do everything. Business-wise, you got to take your emotion out of it, right? Mm-hmm. Either Midtown, there's a place that's like $25K a month to lease it there. Mm-hmm. Looking at Miami, Little River.
It's a lot for a startup.
Yeah, 100%. So we're going to do this very strategically. I'm going to take on people. I'm actually, on my podcast, which we'll have you come on too, but I'm going to have people of the Porta Vieira. Maybe I'll have the Dutch Bros owner on. I'm going to have a lot of the people on before I launch it.
Got it.
To just like really that are heroes of mine. Kind of like before Elon Musk, right? And I love Elon, right? Mm-hmm. But before he went to Mars, he studied the NASA guys, right? Mm-hmm. Before he's doing all that. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I literally got on personal branding to build a coffee shop to do it the Elon Musk way. My vision of going to Mars is having my own Dutch Bros coffee shop.
So tell us, guys, where do we find you on social media?
Yeah, Jeff the Entrepreneur. Although do you think I should keep that or change it? Should I go back because we're rebranding to Jeff J. Cunningham?
Rebranded Jeff J. Cunningham.
Yeah, good. That's good. We're doing it.
I like the Jeff J. I like the JJ.
Yeah, I started when I was in college radio. Jeff J. here to make your day. We used to do that. So maybe we'll do Jeff J. All right, there we go. We got it. So Jeff, and then if you just go to jeffjcunningham.com, you can see one of my first websites. They're actually just redoing it and SEOing it, and we're going all in on my God-given gifts, talents now, and it's scary, but I know God's got me. And I know I got you right down the road from me, so we're going to have to do this again.
Just don't be a stranger.
Definitely not.
Jeff, thank you. God bless. And guys, this is what you want to be. You want to be original. You want to be a risk taker. And you want to get out of your comfort zone. So let's go.
Boom. Good. This girl will be happy. I have a girl freaking out now. All right, 2:15.